People, welcome to your morning view. Welcome to your latest dose of Manchester United news, goings-ons, rumours, and topical debates, man. There's a lot going on. There's always a lot going on, even if the games are coming to a halt and we're going to have like a 20-day gap. There's still so much to talk about on United View and at the crazy world of Man United. There's always something going on. Big up to everyone in the chat. Smash a like on a video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. At the top of the show, just want to remind people, because we didn't actually do it yesterday, remind people that you can nominate us for any category you see fit in the football content awards. I think it's getting finalized soon. Might be this week.
I was going to say, when does it close? There's this.
Yeah.
We're not
Monday. Right,
Monday.
Monday.
Ah, it's the final countdown. Da-da-da-da. 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 Da-da-da-da-da. Vote for us for Monday, please. Catchy. Catchy.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I do apologize on behalf of Owen because I know it's early. Could be on your way to work. Could be on a school run, and you might not want to hear Owen's. Vocal cords doing an absolute mazza, trying to hang on in there early doors. But I apologize. It's part of the show. It's what happens. You know what I mean? Hold tight, stay Clint. He's got all his emojis. He's excited this morning. Sophie's Football Talk says, good morning, peeps. And Ronak says, morning all, and Glazers out. And Luke Shaw used to be my best player on this day, on his day, and for England says NK Shooter. Yeah, let's talk about what we are going to be going through today. Luke Shaw, England doubts, and just Luke Shaw in general. What next for him, man? Like, I feel like it's time to have a Luke Shaw discussion because there were some reports sort of saying that he's going to be struggling to get into the World Cup squad. There are internationals coming up, obviously, this week as well, or the next couple of weeks. So we'll talk about that. What next for him? Eriksen talks midfield. And I want to talk about Casemiro as well, because been here for what, 4 games now? 3 games, I think. How many games is it? Leicester.
His first game
four
was
games
Southampton
altogether.
Yeah,
Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal, and then the Europa League. So I want to talk about him and where he fits in. And we've got like a bit of a stick or twist coming up with this Europa League game because, you know, we're going to start our strongest team, or we should do, but does Casemiro fit into that? So all of that's coming up in today's show. Owen, Luke Shaw doubts. What we've got? England doubts. What's going on?
Yes, so it's been reported by, and again, sources from Jeremy Cross from the Daily Star, but he's saying that Gareth Southgate is set to leave Luke Shaw out of his squad for the World Cup in Qatar after his lack of game time for Manchester United so far this season. So it would appear just a year after scoring a goal in the European Championship final for England, that he might not even be going to the next competition, that being the World Cup, because of a lack of playing time for Manchester United. What a drop-off, Flex. For a player that, again, that season heading into that tournament was very good. And that tournament was very good. But since then, last season for Manchester United, along with several players in that squad, really, really poor. This season, he started the first 2 games, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Yeah. Started the first 2 games.
Hooked at half-time in Brentford.
Hooked at half-time against Brentford and hasn't come back since. Thuram Malacia has come in and absolutely sparked the Manchester United back four and arguably the team with his personality, his attitude to life. And it appears that Luke Shaw is maybe further away from a starting left back spot at Manchester United than he's ever really been, right? I mean, this isn't since the days of Jose Mourinho, you know, where he did feel like a periphery member of the squad. It feels like he's as far away as he's been since then, certainly. And realistically, right now, Gareth Southgate's probably justified in not selecting him for the World Cup squad. But it does open up a bigger discussion point, doesn't it? Of there are also other members of the Manchester United squad that aren't playing that will go to the World Cup squad in November.
Yeah, Luke Shaw, I think he's got. If we'll get to the bit of what we think of him as fans in his tenure, but he's got the unlucky things on his side right now, which is that a new kid comes in and you're injured. So that's the thing, and the new kid's doing really well. So that's the first thing. But that's something that's been synonymous with Luke Shaw throughout his career as well, though. The injuries. It's typical. So he hasn't even got the opportunity to stake a claim right now with the new manager to say, give me another chance. I'm healed since Brentford. I'm mentally scarred from then. I'm back. I'm all right. I know what you want from me. Give me another chance. Because he's been injured. And that's always the case with Luke Shaw. And it was interesting that we learned a few days ago that he'd missed, what was it, 3 of the last 4 games through injury. So that 4 games
for
where
a
he
foot
wasn't
injury, yeah,
for a foot injury, which was quite interesting.
They went, it's not serious. Like, well, he missed 3 out of 4 games. Sounds
3 out of 4
serious.
games. Was sitting in the stands next to me and Josh the other day, alongside Martial and Wan-Bissaka and co. And I feel like something. it's a running commentary. It's a running theme. It's something that has been ever present through his career, either injuries or inconsistency. One of the two. One of the two. Or we expect better. Those three kind of subtitles, subplots have been like attached at Luke Shaw's doorstep his whole Man United career, because every time you think he's gonna go on a run, every time you think he's gonna start pulling up trees and continue and just like leave it all behind him, all the mess, he just gets sucked back into it. Whether it's his own fault or not, he ends up back in this situation where we're like, nah, it's just a bit stale. Like, had enough chances now. Had enough chances now. Him not going to the World Cup, if he doesn't go right now, how can he? Right now, he can't. But obviously, with Gareth Southgate, he's got his favourites. He's got people that he picks regardless of what. I mean, Harry Maguire's not playing now. He will be on that plane to the World Cup if he doesn't play from now until then, or only plays Europa League, and he'll be starting.
Yeah, I was going to say he'll be starting. And again, it does. That's where you can almost somewhat understand a bit of frustration, couldn't you, from Luke Shaw when it came to the England squad? Because you could argue, yeah, okay, I'm not playing games, but there'll be people like you said that will start. Harry Maguire's one of them. You know that he will start. He will start. So you'll go, well, why? But that's a separate conversation. When it comes to Luke Shaw, I mean, it is quite. You were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? That when you realise how long he's been at the club for, he signed for the club in 2014. Like, it's 8 years he's been at the club, and how many good seasons can you pick out of Luke Shaw at Manchester United? 1.5, maybe. You know, the COVID season, which isn't really a proper season. It's a season where Man United finished second, but there was nobody in attendance. There was a lack of pressure. No one really knew what was going on with football at the time anyway. Again, it's a bit of a crazy season. So take that out of it. The other good season he had was half of it before he broke his leg under Louis van Gaal. I believe was that his second season under Van Gaal. And then, you know, since then it's always been a couple of good games here. Injury. Wow, under Jose Mourinho wasn't playing at all. Didn't feel like he had the right, you know, character or personality. He was preferring to play Ashley Young at left back over him, right? And since then, just when we thought, or just when United thought, like, okay, enough's enough. You know, he's not consistent enough. He's always getting injured. We've got to bring in a new player. They bring in Alex Telles for competition. Suddenly, bang, plays well. Oh yeah, I can't stay fit for a season, or I can play good games. I can play consistently. But even last season, he lost his space to Alex Telles on a couple of occasions as well. It's not as
And
if
Alex Telles was rubbish.
Yeah, it's going to say it's not as if he's amazing. So. Yeah, I mean, at the moment, he doesn't deserve to be playing. Let's be honest, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Starting left back.
And like I said about Malacia, it's not even like Malacia is, like I said, world class, polished. I know everyone's saying like he's the closest thing we've had since Evra. I think, look, it's really early into his Man United career, and that's because of his playing style, like quite aggressive. He's short, he's little, he can get about. He kind of gives you the Evra vibe, but that's a big, massive comparison. And actually, he started his Man United career better than Evra, because Evra started awful. Evra struggled when he came.
Yeah, remember that debut
in that January. Awful.
Yeah, that debut against Man City.
Yeah, it took him absolutely.
brutal.
And he admits it all the time. And every time you speak to Evra or you hear him do interviews and talk about his time at Man United, he talks about how difficult it was. So if anything, Malacia has actually started more comfortably than Evra did. Now look, I just let's get away from the Evra situation, because you know he's one of the best left backs we've had at the club. But I just feel that with what Ten Hag wants as well from his left back, Luke Shaw he's just falling behind the pack, and I'm not surprised to see him, be in doubts for the England squad. We got Nations League coming up. You know, I think England play Italy and Germany. I know it's like a bit of a, but you know, two big nations. You know, he needs some game time. Then is he going to play? He hasn't even been training, I don't think, has he? So, or if he has been training, he hasn't been in the match.
He's been doing right-footed training, Flex.
What did you make of that?
Because, yeah, if you're not familiar with this, so there was a story that came out yesterday from Samuel Luckhurst, who was talking about the impact that Erik ten Hag has had on Manchester United. And to be fair, it was a nice change of pace that you're hearing about a manager having a positive impact when it comes to training as well. How many times over the last few years have we heard training's rubbish, it's terrible? blah, blah, blah. We had some positive things. And Samuel Lucas said, Eric Ten Hag has overseen wrong-footed training sessions with members of the Manchester United squad. Ten Hag has placed an emphasis on strengthening the weaker foot of certain players in drills conducted after the squad's main sessions. Luke Shaw is believed to be one of the Manchester United players who has participated in sessions to strengthen his right foot. I mean, you can argue that it might just be a case of, because you do see this, and to be fair, you see this a lot in fullbacks, maybe not modern day fullbacks, in sort of more traditional fullbacks, which you could argue Luke Shaw is. He's more of a traditional, old school fullback, in that he's just up and down a little bit. But how many assists does he get? I just had a look. Premier League, I don't know if this is with Southampton and United. Either or, it's terrible. It's 15. Got 15 assists in his career in the Premier League.
Crazy.
That was crazy.
Top ones are doing that in a season.
Yeah, in a season, literally. That's what the ambulance for him, because of all the foot injuries. And no, but okay, you can have wrong-footed training because it can offer somewhat of a bit of balance. Because you do see it when the ball's like fired into him on the left-hand side. It's always left foot. It's always that. So that can help. But does that make him more regularly available? No. Does that fix his fitness issues? No. It just feels like with him. Thing. Yeah, it's just. I prefer you to maybe be a bit more competent with your right foot. I mean, look, he is 27 still. It's not as if he's old, but when do you have to say like enough's? Because we've seen
now.
You talk about sample size, don't you, Flex?
Yes, massive.
It's a massive one. It's a massive one, right?
The biggest one you can obviously get.
Exactly.
Huge.
So
huge.
I don't know when it comes to Luke Shaw. What is next for him? I mean, he's got a year left on his contract, hasn't he? We spoke about that yesterday, I think.
Spoke about it yesterday. We said we'd cash in, didn't we? Trigger the extension and cash in.
Trigger and sell.
Trigger and sell. But you know what? Yeah, I always say this, and this isn't me trying to say, oh, come on, guys, give him, you never, But football is just so weird. It is like, how many I've seen times before where we've just thought somebody is just so much toast. And like, something just happens in the season where somebody else got injured and they had to play, and it's like, oh, actually, they're playing all right. But it's still, it doesn't mean that the long term is going to happen.
Fleck, if you are looking at toast for 8 years and expecting it to be anything else but toast, I'd have to sit you down and go, we've got a problem with Fleck. Because he keeps staring
what happens if he
keeps staring at that piece of bread that's toast and going, it might not be toast. Use your eyes, man. It's there. It's been on the side 8 years. Get rid of it. Get rid of it.
It's true, though. That's true. You just try and give him a little bit of what if Manasseh got injured? Luke Shaw had to play.
Well, went on a run. You have to play, but that's why you get another left back.
We have won games with Luke Shaw before. Now, we ain't lost every single game Luke Shaw's played.
What have we won with Luke Shaw?
Europa League.
Did he play in that game?
Don't think so. I think he's injured. Actually, no, I don't know. Did he play in that game?
I'll have a look.
I think he did play in that game. I think he did play in that game. I think he did. Eric Bailly was injured, I remember.
And Zlatan, they were on the sideline with their crutches waving around, weren't they?
I'm sure Luke Shaw played.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at
the
starting lineup.
Young right back, Luke Shaw left back.
Yeah. I don't want to see the entire... Here we go. Did he start... What do you think?
Oh, no. Ashley Young left back, and then who played right back then?
No, it wasn't even that. It was Valencia as right back and Darmian as left back.
That's because he played in the Premier League, man, so they gave him a rest.
Was Shaw on the bench? Shaw wasn't even on the bench, mate.
I didn't. Was he injured as well? Was he on crutches too? But anyway,
that starting lineup. By the way, can I just say, I mean, this is what's cool with these morning shows. It's off topic. That starting lineup in that Europa League final is mad for Manchester United. Romero in goal, Valencia right back, Smalling and Blint as your centre backs.
Hey,
Darmian,
we'd have them back now, mate.
Yeah, he would. Darmian's left back, midfield, Herrera, Fellaini, Pogba, Mata, Mkhitaryan, Rashford. That team won Europa League.
Yeah.
That's madness.
It's a decent players in there though. Mata at that point wasn't old and washed. Mkhitaryan was still trying to get a tune out of him, but he even scored in that final, didn't he?
That Ajax team's decent as well.
Yeah, he had Donny came off the bench, mate.
De Ligt, Sanchez, Ziyech.
Yeah. It's all before they got dismantled, mate.
Yeah. And their bench.
I mean, we played against Tillemans as well, didn't we?
Bench, Frankie de Jong, Donny van der Beek, Neres.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. So look, I think to end the Luke Shaw thing, it's true, man. It's so stale. I was talking about Chelsea's team the other day. I was just like, they're literally really stale. Like Luke Shaw just seems like he almost needs a refresh for his career. New challenge, new surroundings, new belief from another manager who believes in him, who believes that, I'm not saying that Ten Hag has written him off because he knows, like he says, there's a lot of games he's going to need him. And we only have two left backs. Brandon Williams is there, but essentially we've got two for the position. Malacia can't play every single minute of every single game like he's had to do since Luke Shaw hasn't been there.
How much
So
would Luke Shaw go for, do you think? How
Luke
much would you look
Shaw,
for?
so there'll be a year on his deal, so trigger that. So when he gets to the summer, he's got a year. You're buying him with a year
Because it
left.
won't be it won't be a ton because it's a year left.
It's a year left. Man United tax, England tax.
But he's 27, so he's
27.
old.
It's prime. That's realistically that's in his prime. It's not Luke Shaw in his prime because we know what he's been, but it's
Yeah,
a player that at the age should be at the
yeah,
peak of their powers, right? If
yeah.
you
What do
get
you
them
think?
going. I'm gonna say with a year left, I'm gonna say 15 to 20.
I was gonna say oh, maybe 20, maybe.
Yeah. 20 max.
But even that,
20 max. But then no, it's not. It's incomparable because I'm saying like the market, and I'm not. I know like Kukureya's had one good season and he looks like you can say he's better than Shaw, but he's gone for like 60 million. But because
mm,
he's so young, probably had a big contract there at Brighton as well, so it's a bit different. A year left on his deal. No, I still think Man United tax can come into it. I think 25 tops. It's still Man United in England season pro. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
Luke Shaw's only 3 years older than Kukureya.
See what I'm saying? So like, just by going off what other people go for, what did Matty Cash go for?
But if you're
To
trying to sell Luke Shaw for like 30, 40 million, I don't think you
no,
get
no,
it.
no, no, that's not gonna happen. But Matty Cash, like he's still like Luke Shaw with his injury problems. Yet he still played a hell of a lot of professional games. He's a
Mm.
seasoned pro, experienced player internationally. Played in the biggest games possible for England. Played in the biggest games possible for Man United whilst he's been here. So
They signed
with Matty
him.
Cash, what did he go for? Not Matty Cash, no, Matt Target.
Matty Cash went for 16 million to Villa.
Yeah,
That was in 2020, though.
yeah. Sorry, not Cash.
Target.
Target the other day, just like when they made it permanent, was it like 15, 16 million? Luke Shaw's worth 10 million a man like that. 10
I'm not
million more.
sure. 15 million.
There you go. So if it's 15 million for someone like Target, who's like, he's all right, ain't got the career that Shaw's had. Even though we
Mm.
criticize Shaw, he hasn't. The going rate. You're going to say, well, you're paying at least
2025.
That's what I'm saying. 100%. Yeah.
Are United capable of getting that deal?
That's a different question, Owen.
Yeah.
It's a different question. I mean, that's just the price tag I think they should put on him. Between 20
Yeah.
to 25, you should be looking for sure. We can
But
say
would
like
they-
he's surplus and stuff, but he's still a seasoned pro. He's been in the game for ages.
Played a lot for England. Would
Played
they
a lot for
go?
England, man.
But would they go? Okay, let's say he's worth 30, but it's got a year left on his contract, so you
Yeah,
need to tell.
we'll take 22. We'll take 23.
His 15.
No, they're taking a piss. Luke Shaw's got to go for more than Matt Target and them, man. There, come on.
What
Man.
kind of club does he go to as well?
Probably
'Cause
someone like Newcastle.
I always find
Would've
that
been all right.
interesting, isn't it? With these kind of players, it's always like, where do they go after United? And it always kind of shows, no disrespect to them, but they're kind of their quality. You know what I mean? When they go to like
Luke Shaw could
Everton,
go. I was
Villa.
just about to say Everton. I was just
Yeah.
about Frank Lampard. He's brought in Cody and Tarkowski.
Well,
Wants
you
a bit of,
do the Lampardian interview when he
Yeah.
goes, I'll get a tune out of him. Seriously, I'll get a tune out of him. It's fine. He
That
does that.
100%.
Do you
know
like
what I
that?
mean?
Do you enjoy that when you see those interviews that Frank does?
What when he's just like have a bit of a little laugh and that?
He'll do. I can't remember what it's called. It might be called like the Lampardian shift, and he'll just sort of say something. They'll say something as a joke. Des Kelly will say something as a joke, and he goes, and then gets really serious.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I don't mind Lampard. I mean, I think he's a bit overrated, so he's got it all to prove. But I don't mind him as a manager, young coach. You know what I mean, legend of the game. So it's interesting to see if those guys can do well. But
Gone before the end of the season.
yeah, probably. Yeah. I can't see how he gets Everton going. But they're all right at home, but away is still crap. Talk about off topic, but yeah, Everton he could go to. Villa not so much now because they're sorted. With Luca Digne, I think that you'd have Digne over Shaw, really, wouldn't you?
Here's one though. Cabaslow says the problem with Luke Shaw is his salary, just like every other average player we have. What is his salary? Because that is a good point.
It's got to be 200 plus.
Yeah,
It's got to be. It's got to be.
it's got to be a lot. I'm trying to find out.
Yeah. But part of this, and this is what I mean, like part of this
150k a week, maybe.
minimum, I'd say minimum.
That's what I think. That's what it is.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's about right, isn't it? Man United
150k a
senior
week.
player. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to come down. Listen, you got Nottingham Forest paying people 100 grand a week, 140 grand a week. West Ham, don't be fooled by some of these clubs, mate. A lot of them can pay players that come from bigger clubs. Like Kurt Zuma went there at West Ham. He's on over 100 grand a week.
Yeah,
Is that 120 grand a week? Like,
this is the issue, isn't it? When you go to like trigger in the extension, is you could trigger the extension, but then other clubs would be like, we're not paying that, and then it's Luke Shaw's prerogative of, okay, do I want to stay a season? Do I want to stay a season and take this money and not play, or do I want to take a pay cut and go and play?
But that's why the loans come into effect. All right, I know I'm not really going to play. I'll go on loan. So between Man United and West Ham, let's say it is, West Ham could be a decent move for him. Actually, Cresswell's getting old. I think they did buy a left back in the end, but you know you could get Luke Shaw.
Who would you rather have, Cresswell or Shaw?
Nah, Shaw. Cresswell's it's much. Cresswell's 30, 31, always injured as well. They're technically the same player, but just Luke Shaw's a bit younger. At least Cresswell scores a few more free kicks and stuff like that. A bit better delivery, but I'd still say Shaw at a push. But again, it's slim pickings slim pickings, mate. But yeah, I just feel like people can pay. Like it's whether he goes right. I'll take a loan. I'll take a loan, and so I still get my money because that's my contract. So between Man United and Club X, I'm still on 150 grand for one more year. I'll come back after the loan. Might go on a free then or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But at some point, you're gonna have to take a pay cut because, like you said, he's gonna secure his next deal. Unless something crazy happened, like a foreign team coming for him, big foreign team, like I don't know,
Jose
Milan, AC Milan.
No, go Jose.
Jose.
Hey, Chris Smalling's thriving.
True.
Jose.
True. Couple of super chats here. The Emmy Blaze says big up UV. Shaw needs to move on. Also been a member for 2 months as well. Big up to you. Yep, a lot of people agreeing that he needs to move on. Anthony 2 1993 says Shaw will stay with Jones at United until he's 40. Doesn't look like he's just going to keep staying. And Kunzu says is the latest member of the UV members club as well. So big up to you, Kunzu. Appreciate that, my bro. Owen, what we got next? Eriksen talks midfield.
Yes, Christian Eriksen has done an interview talking about Manchester United's midfield. A couple of quotes here talking about the incomings of Casemiro, also talking about Fred and Donny van der Beek. Eriksen has said, quote, Casemiro coming in and showing how strong he is already, being a winner, and Fred and Donny have played for many years. It's a decent midfield. Also talking about so far at Manchester United, saying, quote, I think it's gone well, but also when you win games, it's just easier to look back and the confidence builds up and you forget the small mistakes you make and remember the good things. There are a lot of things we can improve, but it's a good road we're on. I think the first bit's probably the most interesting part of that, Flex, when he's talking about it's a decent midfield, where he says Casemiro coming in, you've got Fred and you've got Donny and you've got himself. Is that a decent midfield?
Yeah, I think the word's decent. I think the word's decent. You know, when it's if everything is up to the speed that you would think on paper, where Casemiro is the starter, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno, it looks functional. It looks like it can work. At the moment, it's McTominay who's given that balance, but definitely Eriksen is the one who's come in really and made our midfield good.
Yes,
you know what I mean. He's the one, and I'm not just, you know, I'm sorry if KG's watching, where you know he didn't get the Eriksen thing and he was a bit annoyed that we were talking about Eriksen for so long.
He was getting prickly about it. He's getting prickly about it.
I didn't like that.
He said, "Oh yeah, you called in, didn't you?" Yeah, I think he didn't like that. I said he's better than Carrick.
Yeah,
he didn't like that, and I understand that. You know, look, we did the poll the other morning, didn't we? And it was, I think Carrick just won it. He just edged it out. Now, KG's reason for why he likes Carrick, Flex, is because he has a signed pair of Carrick boots.
See, and that's the thing with KG.
Nothing to do with football.
It will be, you know, he'll make his point and have his reasoning behind it, but his reasoning will be somewhat blurred or biased towards him, which is fine. Just fine. Big up KG. But I just think look, they're two different players, isn't it? I mean, out and out as a 6, you know, that was Michael Carrick's best position. He's one of the best players in the league at that if not the at one stage, without getting the recognition for it, which is what
Yeah.
was weird about Michael Carrick. He was out and out probably the best in that position for a good few years and never really got recognised as that for England,
Mhm.
for Man United. Well, Man United fans knew, but within
Mm.
the Premier League, he was never veered as that superstar who is like Makelele and like, sweeping up, interceptions,
Yeah.
passing between the lines, initiating attacks, tempo setter. Really, really good. But he but onto Eriksen again. Yeah, it is a decent midfield, but he's really been the catalyst as to why it's so different. It's Eriksen, the tempo of it, the passing between the lines, allowing Bruno the freedom to say, "Listen, you've taken we've actually taken the reins off Bruno whilst putting them on a bit, if you get what I mean."
Yeah,
So
yeah, because you say to Bruno, because this has been the frustrating thing with Bruno last season is because there was literally zero creativity in the deeper parts of those midfield. He would go chasing the
0.
game.
Exactly.
He would come deeper and be like, okay, I'm going to do a pass that ideally I'd like to be on the other end of. I'd like to be on the other end of this pass, but now I've got a guy that can do it. So as you mentioned, it does take the pressure off Bruno in terms of creating things, but puts more pressure on him going, okay, now you're in the space you want to be in. You've got to start finishing them off or finding those right passes, which he has been doing. I think the biggest thing about Eriksen, I mean, obviously we've seen him play really well against, particularly Arsenal and against other teams as well. But the biggest eye-opening thing for me with him was on last Thursday against Real Sociedad is actually when he came off, because it's one of those situations of you don't know what you've got until you don't have it anymore. And he came off, and it was just like we create nothing.
Yeah.
We can't pass the ball forward. There is nobody that can do it, which is quite startling actually. And then when he came off, in that second half particularly, I never felt Manchester United were going to score.
Not once.
Never.
No, not once. Not once. I mean, even in the first half where he has a cross for Ronaldo that's just ahead of him, but it's nearly a fantastic ball. And just, there's we can wax lyrical, and I can do it all day because I think Eriksen's a fantastic player. He's the type of player I love watching play because they just do all
Mhm.
the fundamentals so seamlessly, so smoothly. David Silva's another one, even when he was playing the other day, just effortless, just the way
Still
he
good, isn't
understands
he?
the game. Yeah, 100%. That's what top level players do. But the thing is with Eriksen, we can wax lyrical about him on the ball, but actually positionally as well, he's fantastic. He just knows where to be. He's putting in sprints where people think his work goes unnoticed because he does it without a fuss. Again, I think I said it on Twitter. I was like, I'm glad it's going unnoticed. I don't want Eriksen to be the hot topic. I don't want Eriksen. People like him just slot in seamlessly, and then people will talk about him, like you said, when he comes off the pitch, or he couldn't play because he was injured, or he was
Yeah.
being rotated because he's not playing today. Because he just completely transforms the way we play. Because he just does everything so acutely, so simply, and he does it so consistently. He does the same things consistently, and that's what makes top draw / world class players. It's not just doing the amazing pass or doing the amazing shot or assist. It's how often do you do the simple things? Do you do them
Yeah.
consistently? That's what makes the top draw players. And then you sprinkle the stardust on them where in the critical moments when you need to be calm and get the perfect weight of the pass or the perfect weight of the shot or whatever it is, make the right decision, make it quick. Then you come into your world class element. But the top players just do shit consistently.
And you can also see, can't you, when you see Eriksen play, you can see why Ten Hag really wanted Frankie de
Oh,
Jong. You
oh,
can see why he wanted Frankie de Jong, can't you? Because if you'd have had de Jong in that deeper role, Eriksen in the 8 role, and then Bruno as a 10, that's 3 players there that are just playing proper football, innit?
yeah.
You can see what his mindset is, because essentially what Eriksen is doing now is the role that really Ten Hag wanted Frankie de Jong to do, is that sort of deeper connector from the back four, picking the ball up off centre backs, or the centre backs passing the ball really from a deeper position. He finds those forward players. That's really what Eriksen's doing right now, and he's doing it very, very well. But you can see sort of parts of the grand vision, as it were, can't you?
Yeah. Well,
For Frankie.
Tabaslo says, would Ericsson have played if Frankie de Jong was here? I think he would have been maybe on a bit more rotation, but I wouldn't have ruled out certain games for certain oppositions. Once we were fine tuned, Bruno, Ericsson, and De Jong in a midfield, and in some games, not going forward all the time, because clearly we've seen he wants one physical guy in there, i.e. a Casemiro, i.e. a Fred, i.e. a McTominay, one type of midfielder that's different to the other two. But if Frankie de Jong came, certain games, I could, maybe Bruno might have been on the bench for a couple of games here or there. Like I said,
Yeah.
we've got loads of games.
But I don't think you can say that Eriksen or Ten Hag viewed Eriksen as a 10 because he's had opportunities to play him as a 10 and he hasn't
Never
done it.
does. Never does it.
He
Yeah.
played Fred as a 10
Yeah.
against Real Sociedad instead,
Yeah.
which, we can praise Ten Hag, but bad move.
It was a bad move. But what it
Bad move.
shows, though, it was a bad move, especially because in hindsight, it was shocking. And Fred at that end of the pitch, we never want him. Even when he's playing in a pivot and he arrives late at the edge of the box, we're like, oh, God. Do you know what I mean? Let alone when he's actually meant to be in the 10. But
Yeah.
it also is a massive big up to Eriksen, because what it shows is that even though I don't have another 10 to put there, the balance, I know it went wrong, but his thinking was the balance of what you give me from deeper. I even think you're that good to even give Fred passes and make him be all right and facilitate us from deep. That's how important you are to us from deep. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and also as well, it goes to show that, again, if Donny was fit, he'd have played in that game, but he'd have played as a 10.
100%.
Like, he would have played as a 10. And as you mentioned, it's got to the point now where Ten Hag clearly sees Eriksen as that guy in that deeper position that nobody else in that team can do. Nobody.
Yeah.
If Eriksen gets injured, we're kind of screwed this season.
100%. Oh.
We don't have anyone. Who have we got?
There's no one else that can do what he's doing. If he got injured now, it would offer Foreman that or whatever. It'd probably be Casemiro and McTominay. Do you know what I mean? Fred obviously dropped a stinker, so you can't completely rule him out as well, though. But it would be because McTominay's the starter. As you take out Eriksen, if Donny's still injured, it's got to be one of them two, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, and it would completely change the way we play. Dylan Soup says, "Can we play some behind closed doors friendlies to keep match fitness? My fear is we drop our momentum and sharpness." Yeah, well, we can't, because we've got a game on Thursday and then it's international break and the players will go to their internationals. So the players won't even be there to do a friendly. And then, to be fair, I suppose it probably is good for him to go on international and play, hopefully, really, and keep the intensity up, because
because we were talking about this
game for ages. Luckily, we have had the Europa League.
Yeah, we were talking about this yesterday, weren't we? But we just finished doing the live video we did talking about the obviously the match being postponed, and we were like, oh, because thinking of how they're going to get these fixtures in. And we were thinking, oh, what internationals are? Oh, it's Europa League, it's Nations League. Like, can they cancel? And then we were like, well, they can't because there are other nations playing. There are other international fixtures going on. You can't just stop them because of England, you know what I mean? Because of the English Premier League.
Yeah,
so
can't stop the whole of Europe, basically.
No, exactly. So, and even if you said, oh, yeah, okay, Manchester United have got to play those fixtures in this international break, with what players? With who?
Exactly. They would all be on, international. Yeah.
You can't do it. So, yeah, it is just, I mean, but as you mentioned, it's weird because whilst games are being called off, you're not actually almost missing a ton of football, really, because you've got the international break. There's no time to get in those extra friendlies, really, is there? I mean, I'm sure maybe, I don't know if last weekend they would have done some behind closed doors squad thing, maybe of like, well, let's just act as if we were going to play a match anyway, sort of thing. Maybe that's what they'll do. I don't know whether they'll do that on Sunday as well. But yeah, it's quite strange, isn't it?
It is. A couple of super chats here from one from Anthony. Anthony says, "How often do you think Maguire, Jones, Wan-Bissaka, and Shaw listen to Akon Lonely on repeat during match days? Actually, at home as well. What about in the car as well on the way driving back?"
I know that song.
Yeah, you do know that song. That is that's famous. That's a pop song, really. So yeah. Yeah, there you go. And Blue Abadia Badai says Eriksen did play as number 10 in one of the first matches we played, or am I tripping? The first game he played false 9.
False 9, yeah. And then the second half, he switched back to that deeper lying role, didn't he? Because he was really deep. Role. And that's when he started playing well against Brighton.
Yeah, and then against Brentford, he played the
he was deeper. Yeah, he was deeper because he had he had the thing, didn't he, with the hair selling him out with that pass. The wrong pass,
And then every game after that, he's playing next to McTominay, wasn't he, really?
Yeah.
And that was when we went on the 4 games winning straight in a row.
Yeah.
So,
Which was still on. Which was still on.
Actually. Yeah, you forget. Yeah, you forget that, actually.
Yeah.
It just would have been, that Sociedad game just put a little rubbish dent. Like, if you win that and then win Thursday, it just would have been nice, all competitions.
Just a reality check, isn't it? It's just a reality check. Just a nice little, don't get too carried away. Last season was still a thing. Some of those players are still there.
But you were saying it, weren't you? You were saying it even in the 4 games. I think we had a 4
well, that's why after the Arsenal game, and I think it was a full view on and I get it. There's a lot of positivity, and you do start thinking, what if in your minds and all this kind of stuff, right? But you can't forget the past too much, And when I say the past, it's not as if last season was just one bad season for Manchester United. We played like that for ages. Yeah. So, and there are still the same players there. I know it's a different coach, but not even just that. Like 2 games before that, we were terrible. You know what I mean? in those first 2 losses, so you can't.
That Palace game was going to be really hard. It's weird that wasn't a game, and then you think, okay, maybe we can get Leeds at home, might be able to win that, get some bit confidence. But now the next game is Man City away. And that's going to be a big test, a massive test for us, because we can say we've been doing all right, but counter attack, how do we hurt them? We know we can, but it could be an L.
I mean,
it's still 3 weeks,
3 weeks away from it. How are you feeling about that? 3 weeks away. How are you feeling? Because we don't have to think about it for a while, but how are you feeling about that when you cast your mind to it? I'm caught in 2 minds. I'll answer my own question. I'm caught in 2 minds about it because, obviously, City, we know what they rip teams apart, especially at home. But we've seen them in recent years, but even this season already, they're prone to a counter-attack. And I know people can say, but you're playing counter-attacking football under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, whatever. I don't give a shit. As long as we win. as long as we win. If we go to the Etihad and play counter-attacking football and win the game, who cares?
I think there's this thing
that I think we can do it.
Oh, we can. There is this thing that is people are starting to get infatuated with. Not so much Man United fans, it's more rival. Are you playing? It's embarrassing. Look at the Man United you are. That like you're not good until you're better than Man City at like playing ball. Like Pep Guardiola's way of playing is not going to be beaten until he's not even there anymore. Like I don't think you can go toe-to-toe with Man City, keep them on the back foot for the most of the game where you absolutely battered them. You had more shots on target, more possession. Like, I just don't think that happens. Even when they lose, it's never in that manner. They've always still got more possession because there's a way of beating a team that's like that. Styles make fights. Can't say to a boxer, unless you outbox the guy for every single round, have him down on 3 occasions, on 3 10-8 rounds and stuff because you've got 3 knockdowns and you really dominated, then you're not better than him. No, mate, I can battle down the hatches, just not get hit and knock him out. I won. I'm better.
But also as well, it annoys me. It really annoys me when you hear this all the time, especially against teams like City or Liverpool. Liverpool have done it in the past. Klopp's complained about it in the past. When you give it like, they came here and they didn't like attack us or they didn't do this. Basically, they're complaining that they didn't come there and basically purposely lose the game. They didn't play the football like we play and lose against us. What do you do? It's in every form of life, every form of competition. You do what you have to do to win, all right, within legal means, right? That's what you do. So when you play City at the Etihad, why on earth would you go there and play open attacking football?
All that is from their managers is moaning that they couldn't find a way to combat our tactics. Because we found a way to combat theirs. We found a way to deal with theirs, which is they're on the front foot. They do a high line. So let's just camp in, get runners in behind. Rashi, you need to be at it. Anthony, you need to be at it. Eriksen, look for that outball. That's our tactic. All right, well, what's your tactic to break down a low block? Because you're the best. Yeah. So at the end of the day, exactly, couldn't care less with that. But to answer your question, before we move on to the other topic, to answer your question, how do I feel about it? Of course we can hurt them. Under Ollie, with Vibes FC and Smiles, we went there and Ollie had a decent record against Man City. Apart from the last season, which was the worst. We did all right. I think we went there. I remember going there twice and winning. 1 in the Carabao Cup. Was it 2 in the Premier League and 1 in the Carabao Cup? 1 in the Carabao Cup where it didn't matter anymore. I think we won 1-0. Matic scored, but was already 3-1 down.
Yeah.
So that didn't matter. But we still won on the day. I remember on the day it gave us confidence because we're like, we've come here, we've kept the clean sheet, we won. It's actually good. Then we won with the counter attack where Rashford scored the pen. Where Dan James, Lingard, Martial as well playing, I think.
Yeah, we won in the COVID season.
Then we won in the COVID season. So that's so it's two leagues.
And we won. Well, this is how
we won at home,
games.
just
home
before
Old Trafford. Yeah,
and a couple of draws. So basically what we're saying is our recent form against City in all competitions, apart from last season where they smashed us both games, it's not been that bad. And if you think with Erik ten Hag's tactics of how to set up and be difficult to beat, can we go there and not get beat and still beat? Of course we can. But
with that back four as well, you would say?
Well. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be hard. Of course, it's going to be hard. It's a tough game. Arsenal pushed us in areas, and then we managed to get through. But for large parts, we had to sit in and be tough to break down, and that's exactly what we're going to have to do against City. But even better,
Yeah.
So yeah,
And I can't wait, by the way, for Martinez versus Haaland. Just so
I
Martinez.
know,
So just
I
to,
know.
I mean, let's
Done it
touch wood.
once
I don't want to
already for
jinx.
Ajax.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx things too much, but if he does have a good game against him, it won't shut people up because they've clearly got something on their mind about him anyway. The height thing at this point is bizarre.
Yeah.
It is bizarre. The fact that we're in halfway through September and they're still talking, 5'9", whatever. I hope he has a good game, and I hope then some people start to eat a bit of humble pie. But
Well, there's that as
it
well. But
won't.
Haaland could also still score in that game. And
Yeah,
it'll be
at no
see,
fault of
where was
Martinez.
he? Where was he?
Yeah,
Still
yeah,
scored. Yeah, he had him in his pocket, but he still scored.
yeah.
The narratives could be written already. We can write the agendas from now. But if we kept a clean sheet there and won, or we just nicked a draw or something to just keep us on our way. Because I think actually, when you look at our first batch of fit, they've actually been quite tricky. There's not been any really like, should win that, should it? There's been they're all hard. There's no easy.
Well, that would be 3 of the top 6 that we've already played.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting City out the way early. Liverpool, I would have preferred if it was away early. You want to get them hard games away early, out the way. Arsenal, same thing. Now we've got to go Emirates. We've got to go Anfield still. Ain't played Chelsea, so ain't played Spurs. And Spurs, the first game is home, isn't it? It's in October, early October. So, I just think we've got to looking forward to that game, but we can hurt them. I've read that one already. A special like on the video, peeps. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you haven't done so already. The link's in the video description below if you want to do that. Casemiro, Owen. Casemiro. So we've got a bit of a stickle twist coming up, right? And we should be playing our best team against what's that? What they called again? Sharif.
I shot the sheriff, Sharif, but it didn't shoot the deputy. No,
that's awful.
It works. It works.
It's awful, that one. It's real.
That's why I sung the final countdown earlier on as well, because who sings that? Europa League. It works.
Guys, all I can do is apologize. I can't. That's all I can do.
It works.
Oh, mate. Owen is high, says Mr. Faith. Laugh my ass off, says Makish. Says Tabby Slow. No, says Makish 10. Makish 10 with the Owen emojis. And why does
like
Flex pronounce...
like count is dropping.
Yeah, 100%. Like count is dropping. Why does Flex pronounce it like that?
What, Sharif?
Sheriff? I don't know.
Do you want me to find out the right way?
Yeah, you're good at finding out the right pronunciations of stuff. But yes, while you do that, we do have a game against Sharif/Sheriff on Thursday. We'll obviously build up more about the game in the coming days. That's tomorrow when we get the presser and do the preview. But Casemiro, does he start? Does he start in our best team right now? Does he start against Sheriff?
No, I don't think he does. I don't think he does.
Let us know in the chat. Actually, let's get a poll, Josh, as well.
Get a poll up, yeah. If you're going to say play the best team at the moment, the best team is the team that's been winning in the Premier League, correct?
Correct.
So why would you change a winning team? I'll throw it back to you.
Casemiro had his first start. Needs to just keep building. Europa League is supposed to be his time. Maybe there's not agreement, but I know there's other things have happened, but Ten are saying you get your chance in this competition. That's we'll get you going anytime as Europa League. He might have even started against Palace after that. We don't know. But Ten Hag is probably keen to get him going. Don't know. That's all I've got really. Because I agree with you. Yeah. Because also, if you think about this, here's one for you. McTominay plays against Sharif because it's the best team. And it's not guaranteed. That's just painting that picture. Who starts the Manchester derby? Who do you want in there?
Sharif's game's quite important, isn't it? It is. Because let's face it.
Massive.
If McTominay starts, which I think he probably will, and he does, and he doesn't play well, you get Casemiro in against Man City. And let's be honest, you would think Etihad, pressure game.
What we bought him for.
You need discipline. You need him for that game. And it is, let's be honest, it's wild that we're even having this discussion of going, McTominay, Casemiro. How crazy is that? But McTominay's been playing well. And Casemiro, look, very early to judge him. Whenever you talk about him having a bad game against Real Sociedad, people get very angry. And they say,
Well, here's one for you.
they'll go, how dare you, Flex? How dare you? But
Here,
objectively, he played terrible.
here's one for you, and that's what I'm saying. You've got to call a spade a spade. I hate this kind of stuff. Homenal 10 says another day of bad takes regarding Casemiro. Suffered from McTominay for years. Now we're not dropping him. And I just think context is everything. We've seen your guy Casemiro. Come on, shit. Like let's just say I've got to say this as it is, and this isn't an agenda because I don't want Casemiro is a better player than McTominay in terms of
Oh,
like his whole career, what
the
he's achieved and
role,
stuff like that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
in football, it's not transferable all the time, which means that in this current moment, while Casemiro is trying to get up to speed in a whole totally different team, that McTominay isn't better for us right now than Casemiro. Well, the last 4 games have proved that it is. So until that starts changing, or until Casemiro starts coming in and giving a good account of himself, like McTominay's justified to start. Also, you're not taking into consideration, and you know what? Whether people like it or not, I'm just going to say my opinion. This
Say
isn't
it.
in. This is a bit in defence to McTominay. How do we not know that he's playing better now because he's got a different role. He's got a different role, and he's in a good moment. And you know what?
Mm.
A lot of Man United players, if not all, have gone through purple patches. And when someone's going through their purple patch, you rinse it. You rinse it until it's not a purple patch anymore. Listen, McTominay has got it in his locker to going back to being crap at any moment. At
Oh,
any moment. I don't like
maybe the
fine.
Manchester Derby.
Maybe it could be that. Maybe there's going to be a time when he plays rubbish, and then everyone's going to get to say, "See, look at that McTominay. That's why Casemiro should have played. See, McTominay's back." But that's not really the full picture, is it? It's not,
Mm.
because then you're just disregarding the fact that Casemiro's coming on in games and looking dodge. He had his first start and looked dodge. I get it's a small sample size, so I'm not writing him off and saying we've bought a dud. He's never going to be good. I'm just saying he has got a lot of adapting to do because of the team he's coming from. I said it before he even signed that playing with Cruz and Modric in a tight knit, midfield that is way above anyone's level. Then a tight knit back four with runners and aggressive players in behind, which we're starting to try and build now. To be fair to us, with counter attack as well. An amazing glue up front in what's his face in Benzema. You're in a bit of trouble. You can hook it into that channel. He's gonna look after that ball, no problem. Different situation. So I don't think I just think that shouldn't be used with a stick to beat McTominay with when he's actually playing well and helping us win games. Like, what do you want? Like to come now and say, well, we've had McTominay for ages and now we finally get Casemiro and we're not dropping him. Yeah, we're not dropping him because McTominay's playing well and the team started off 2 bad games in a row when Casemiro weren't even here, and McTominay came in and we started building confidence and we won 4 out of 4. Like, what do you want? You just want a player in just on name.
I agree, and like I said a couple of minutes ago, I think that McTominay should start against Sharif. But to play devil's advocate here, because that's what we do,
Yeah.
I think could the game on Thursday be actually the perfect game to start Casemiro in with that stronger starting 11, swapping him out for McTominay? Because if going forward you want your Casemiro is going to be your guy, and you would think it is. That's why we bought him. Would it not make sense to bed him in with the rest of the good players against a weaker opposition that you win 3-0, 4-0, or whatever, and then you go, see, Casemiro in the starting 11. We played really well and we won. Is it not the perfect game to start him in with those better players?
Good point. It's again, I can accept that. I wouldn't. And mine's not an agenda of like, no, Casemiro just can't play. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying McTominay plays crap and people want him taken out the team. McTominay plays good and people want him taken out the team. That means you just don't like McTominay then. That means you're not supporting the player and the team. Like you'd rather just have somebody else in there. For me, when he's actually playing good, he's actually doing his job. Like right now, like in them games, if you want him out, I'm like, but why? You're just basing it off of when he was playing crap last season. He's not playing crap right now. McTominay's had a really good game, arguably man of the match in a couple of them. You know what I mean? Strong candidate, man of the. Even if you didn't want to give it to McTominay in them games, there was a strong, fair argument that he was man of the match in Leicester and Arsenal.
Arsenal played very well.
Yeah. So that means you potentially want the man of the match to be dropped because he's just not the flavour. He's just it's McTominay. If Casemiro played how he played, we'll be waxing lyrical. So I just like keeping it fair. When McTominay plays rubbish, which will be around the corner at some point, absolutely. Just like whenever the players play rubbish, take them out of the squad. That's what Ten Hag's about. And Ten Hag, at least, is proving. We say we want a manager who plays people off merit. He's doing it. And now we want him to drop the player. Like, how many times don't get enough luck, don't get enough merit, don't get enough your nationality? Well, I'll tell you what, Ten Hag is proving that we've got a manager with a bit of balls to make some big decisions. As soon as he starts doing it, we're like, but McTominay shouldn't be playing. Casemiro, well, no. You have to prove it. He didn't start Ronaldo because of his name.
Well, and also,
do you know what I mean?
you
Don't start Ronaldo.
You have to give McTominay credit as well, I think, as well, of this assumption that Casemiro comes in, he'll just get the spot because he's Casemiro, which is probably the plan. But the fact that McTominay's actually making this a discussion point, we wouldn't be talking about this if McTominay wasn't playing well. The fact he's made this a discussion point is not a credit to him and to Erik ten Hag of like, didn't see that coming. And like you said, how long can it last? We don't know how long it can last, but it makes sense to ride it till the wheels fall off, does it not?
That's it. This is literally what someone's I can't even pronounce that. It's in a different language. Bartolomeu, I think I'm going to go with from the chat. But I like what they've said. They said McTominay is in form. Play him. His form will drop, and then we bring in Casemiro. It's a squad game, like you said. There, you rinse the purple patch. Hopefully, McTominay plays like that for the whole rest of the season. Good for Manchester United, no? Like, don't we want the players to be playing good?
Yeah.
Like, flipping it. It's like we moan because the players are crap and don't play good. And now we're, not me and you, but now there's this narrative that's like, well, let's try and find something to moan about because McTominay's playing good and keeping Casemiro.
What I haven't understood, because I've seen this after and what is wild is that you just talk about McTominay and people start giving it like that. And you go, because I've seen this, you'll go, McTominay played well against Arsenal. And it's, how dare you? He's been terrible for ages. He's been rubbish. and you're now saying he's playing well. You've been saying, what, one good game doesn't make a good career. And you go, well, I never said that. I never said. I said in that game, you would go, how did he play today? Good. You are a disgrace. You are a cheat. How dare you say anything positive about Scott effing McTominay? Oh, go and retire. And it's like, well, he played well today. I'm not saying he's a great player. I'm not saying he's Manchester United's solution. I'm not saying he's Manchester United's Scottish saviour or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, he played well that day. And I guess now, the fact that it's a discussion point, because realistically, Flex, it shouldn't be a discussion point. Think about it. A couple of weeks ago, if you said by mid-September who's playing Casemiro or McTominay, you go, come on, don't be silly.
Well, here's another thing. Here's another couple of weird things. So Chisholm says, I didn't see all this energy for Varane last season from you, Flex. I don't know what you mean by that. As in, I didn't back Varane, because I did. I don't know what you mean. Like, you didn't see this energy from me. I don't know what you mean. He was injured, and I had to eat the humble pie because I said he would be wicked, and he was injured most of the year. I was one of Varane's biggest advocates. I don't know what you mean about that, so let me know. But here's one. Hardbro says, bro, the fact is McTominay should have been gotten rid of a long time ago. Good in 4 games does not make his time here. Does not merit his time here. We are sick of the mediocre quality. He ain't good enough for us, and that's it. But I'd counter that and say, well, again, we're acting like we've never won a game with McTominay playing. We beat Liverpool with McTominay playing. We beat Man City with McTominay playing. We've beaten Arsenal with McTominay playing. Now, this ain't me saying he has to start every game. You've got it all wrong. He's fantastic.
This is what's supposed to go. You're saying McTominay's better than Casemiro.
Exactly.
How dare you?
But all I'm saying is so simple. You can't spell it out any other way. Have the same energy. The kid's playing well. The kid's playing in the big games. Liverpool, after the back of an awful loss, against Brentford, which he played in, right? Which he actually come on in that game and was crap.
Come on and started kicking people. Before against Brighton, earlier this season, his performance against Brighton is up there with one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen.
Minus 10 out of 10.
It was awful.
Exactly. So, we've all been there on the McTominay, understanding that he's been poor and stuff. But why does that not mean that when we've played games with him winning in the current moment with the new manager, why does that mean that he should have been sold ages ago? Because he's in there and he's playing and the team's winning and we've won 4 on the bounce. So that's what we want to team. So surely that means he's good. Like when people say he's not even a Premier League player, he can't even play in the Premier League. That's bullshit. That actually just is. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be one of the best midfielders in the league or he's not this or he's not that. But, people wax lyrical about Declan Rice and all these things and say these loads of stuff. Like, there's not much McTominay runs around and can win the ball off people.
You nearly said there's
Rice
not much
is
difference between McTominay and Rice.
nah, yeah, I'm not saying that
That's
because
a hell of a take this
because Rice
morning,
is better than
Flex.
him. Yeah, because Rice is better than him. Rice is better than him. But I still stand by. There are some things that they possess the same. There are some things that they possess the same. It's just that where Rice is better, he's better at traveling with the ball, he's better at decision making, and he's better at distribution. So
Well,
obviously he ticks a little
again,
bit. But
you're allowed to say that people are playing well. That's what I don't
exactly, that's
understand.
all it
That's
is.
why
People
that's why I
just
don't
don't like
understand.
the fact that he's because that's what I'm saying there. Mackie said Rice is overrated. Rice is overrated. Don't get it twisted. Like everyone acts like
Overcooked.
Rice is absolutely amazing. He's not. I don't think he is anyway. It's turned into a Rice debate here.
He's
I don't
not.
know
He's not
why.
worth 150 million.
No way. No way. But anyway, back to Scott McTominay. Cut a long story short, I just think people have a problem with the fact that he's playing well and he's not a player who usually plays well. So it's like he shouldn't be there.
Mm.
Well, that means you're just not supporting anyone playing for us, then, isn't it? That means you'd rather focus on trying to just focus on the individual than anything else. Because surely you'd go, well, you know what, the team's playing well. That's all. That is the overall thing. The team is
But
currently playing well.
let's say again to play devil's.
Can it play better?
Well, yeah, you could argue that if Maguire came in and we had 4 games where we played well, is Maguire the long-term option for Manchester United?
If Maguire turned it round in the first 4 games and was playing better and there was protection there and we were keeping clean sheets and winning, that would fall in line with we can't see it before Ten Hag's come because Maguire's awful. Not even he could fix it. But if you get shown some evidence where you go on a run and he's playing well, what is it? Play good, you keep your shirt in it. The whole reason why Maguire's not keeping his shirt is because he's not playing good.
I agree with what you're saying
Like
about
Shaw.
McTominay starting and playing well. I agree with that. I'm also an advocate of don't change the winning team. However, I can kind of a little bit see the argument of like if there was ever a time to bet in Casemiro, it would be Thursday. That is the perfect time.
And again, I'm not even, and that's the thing about this zone. I'm not even against that. I wouldn't even. Again, it's not on McTominay agenda.
You go. Oh, that's a bit harsh, but okay, I get it.
And I'd say, look, exactly, because if he plays well, then good. He's playing with the better players, can raise his game. There are definitely pros to him starting. Listen, whoever starts, we've got to get it right because we can't afford to lose another game. That's what I do know. Do you know what I mean? We've got to win that game. You don't want to be going in there with 2 losses in your first 2 games of Europa League. That's why I said about the Sociedad game. It was a big game. Couldn't make too many, changes. I know we got unlucky with the handball. It wasn't for the pen, but now we've lost our home game against the best team, the second best team in the group. So that was one of the difficult games, and we've lost it. So the easier games, which can even call Sharif away easy on paper, yeah. But listen, mate, I think they're unbeaten in 4 Europa League games there. Like they don't. I mean, so it's not going to be easy. So yeah, I just feel like whoever plays has got to put in a performance. Got to put in a performance. To finish off the poll, does Casemiro start against Sheriff? After all of that, Owen, 76% of the chat say yes, he should start, and 24% say no. So people have spoken.
There you go. People speak. Community is never wrong.
The community is never wrong. Smash a like on the video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. We will have all the build up over the next 48 hours to our game. We're gonna have to really savor the moment with this game actually, because it's gonna be a national break after that, and we're not gonna play again for a while. So yeah, smash a like on the video. We will see you again very, very soon with another video. And don't forget to vote for us in the Football Content Awards. Links are in the video description below. You can nominate us for any category. The voting closes on Monday. So there's still time, just less than a week. So please vote for your favorite Man United channel to get nominated for an award. We're out of here. Peace.